What is going on, everybody? It's Braden from MotorBiscuit, and today we're talking about the automotive slice of heaven that is the C8 Chevrolet Corvette and the big problem associated with them. One of the biggest selling points about the C8 Corvette when it first came out was the fact that it was affordable. It had a starting price under $60,000 originally, but we all knew exactly what was going to happen, and it's still happening. Affordability goes right out the window when it comes to markups, and it doesn't matter if they're new or used, the markups are huge. There's still to this day some C8 Corvettes with $75,000 MSRP sitting on dealership lots for over $100,000, and six figures is not affordable. So there are a few options when it comes to this. You could, hopefully, maybe find a dealer that'll sell you one at MSRP if you order one and wait 10 months or however long you're going to have to wait to get the thing. You could suck it up and pay the $30,000 if you happen to just have 30,000 spare dollars kicking around, or you could buy one of these 5 alternatives that we're about to discuss. Now, sure, everyone's going to argue that it's not quite the same, it's not comparable, but what we're looking at here is affordable cars that are fun to drive fast and handle well in corners. Are they going to be mid-engine alternatives? Very obviously not, right? The C8 Corvette is still probably the cheapest new high-performance mid-engine car you're going to be able to get your hands on. That being said, here are a few alternatives to consider. Number one is the Ford Mustang Mach 1. That's right. Despite the Camaro really being Chevrolet's opponent to the Mustang, not the Corvette, people still compare them quite frequently. So we're going to continue that tradition right now. The Mach 1 has a 480 horsepower variant of Ford's legendary 5-liter Coyote V8, and Haggerty got one to sprint from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3.8 seconds. One big advantage you can get with the Mach 1 Mustang 2 that you can't get with the C8 Corvette is a manual transmission. Automotive enthusiasts around the world unite, even though you know deep in your heart that a DCT transmission is better for performance and speed. We don't have to get into that argument, and as a person who owns 8 vehicles and all of them are manual, I understand where you're coming from, but it's time to face the facts, ladies and gentlemen. The Mach 1 has a starting price of around $56,000, which already makes it about 10 grand cheaper than a C8 Corvette before markups, and you can find Mach 1s for some pretty decent prices. If it's a budget constraint but you want V8 power and American pedigree and corner handling characteristics that are unbeatable, the Mach 1 is your answer. However, if you're not dedicated to having an American car with a V8, you might step up to the next option, the 3-liter Toyota GR Supra. Up until recently, the Supra was also only available with an automatic, but rejoice once again, manual enthusiasts. There is now a 6-speed manual option for the 3-liter Toyota GR Supra, and if anybody wants to cry about it being a BMW, please feel free to in the comments. But true automotive enthusiasts that understand this car and why it's good are nodding their head along with me right now, knowing that this is an excellent choice if you want high performance, handling characteristics, and you don't want to spend what it takes to get a C8 Corvette. The B58 twin turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine makes over 380 horsepower, and again, Haggerty got the automatic variant to sprint from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. With a starting price of under $54,000, it comes in quite a bit cheaper than the C8 Corvette and just a hair cheaper than the Mach 1 Mustang. Now let's dwell on starting price here for a second, because as I said, the original starting price of the C8 Corvette was $59,995, under $60,000, and this next car played that game too, where the starting price was very enticing, but you knew nobody was going to buy a base model, and things start to get very expensive very quickly. Of course, we're talking about the Nissan Z. With 400 horsepower at every trim level, it is very obviously a good contender to buy instead of a C8 Corvette. And of course, it has the legendary characteristics sports car handling of the Nissan Z lineup, and of course, it's available with a manual transmission as well. However, there is a little bit of a hang-up. The original starting price as advertised of the Z of $40,000 may be incredibly enticing, but it doesn't quite get you everything you need if you want to spend time on track or windy roads. You have to step up to the performance trim if you want track-ready options like the limited slip differential, upgraded brakes, and sports exhaust, and it costs about $51,000. Still, cheaper than every other option so far. Certainly you should not rule out the Nissan Z, just finding one of those without a markup too is going to be a bit of a problem. If you're willing to accept markups though, there's still a real good chance a Nissan Z with a markup is going to be cheaper than a C8 with a markup. We've covered the Japanese and American offerings, so why not step into Europe with the BMW M240i. The M240i is the cheapest stop on this list thus far, with a starting price of around $48,000. Of course, it packs the same B58 twin turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 engine as the Toyota Supra. However, it comes equipped with an all-wheel drive system in the form of BMW's xDrive and can sprint from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Plus, you get all that BMW luxury and excitement on the inside, and you even may in the future have an opportunity to pay a monthly subscription to use your heated seats. Moreover, the M240i can sprint to a quarter mile in just 12 seconds flat, which is pretty impressive for a bone stock car with that low of a price tag. And of course, it's an M car. It's got all the handling characteristics you'd expect it to have. So, with a price tag like that, it's hard to steer away from the M240i, not to mention the markups on the M240i are probably going to be a lot less scary than the likes of the Supra with a manual transmission or the Z, or of course the C8 Corvette. So right now, the best contenders might have to be between the M240i and the Mach 1, but we still have one more contender that is yet to enter the ring. And this one is a bit of a civil war and probably a very unpopular take, but why buy a C8 Corvette and pay $35,000 markups when you could take that $35,000 and almost have enough money to buy an entire Chevrolet Camaro 2SS? Sure, the comments are going to be interesting about that one, but hear us out for a second. Not only the cheapest, but the most powerful, 455 horsepower from the 6.2 liter V8, and of course, available with a 6-speed manual transmission. And remember, these aren't the days of yesterday where muscle cars were straight line heroes unless you went out of your way to make them track capable. Much like the Mach 1, the Camaro SS is quite a beast in corners as it comes. On top of all that, if you get a good launch, the Camaro will sprint from 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, making it keep up with the rest of the pack. The fastest car here obviously being the C8 Corvette with its sub 3 second 0 to 60, but again, we're offering you alternatives, so hear us out some more. Taking the markup into consideration, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get that 1LE track package, and then you will have a absolutely devastating car when it comes to track use or windy roads. And isn't that what this whole list is about? At the end of the day, like I said at the beginning of this video, there's not really a direct competitor to the C8 Corvette. Ferraris and Lamborghinis, of course, being the mid-engine competition with similar 0 to 60 times and performance figures on tracks costing 2 to 3 times as much as the starting price of a C8 Corvette, but any competitors coming in way under that price point are obviously going to be front engine cars with handling characteristics that are certainly nothing to sneeze at. Of course, the GT500 didn't quite make this list, but that too is in a bit of a category of its own when it comes to price. It is a fairly good competitor with the C8 in terms of track performance and everything, but it does carry a very similar price tag, and I'm not going to tell you what to pick, but I know what I would pick if it was down to a GT500 or a C8 Corvette. At any rate, thank you all so much for tuning into another MotorBiscuit video. My name is Braden Carlson. If you want to follow us on Instagram, be sure to do so at MotorBiscuit Official, and follow us on Twitter at BiscuitMotor. And for anything and everything automotive you could ever imagine, visit MotorBiscuit.com. Till then, I will see you in the next video.